Hey Reddit, throwaway account because I don't need this tied to my main. Some friends know my wife, and I'm not ready for the "I told you so's." Anyway, I, 34M, have been married to Julia, 32F, for 8 years. We weren't perfect, but I thought we were solid. We had our small rituals. Every morning, she'd pour 2 cups of coffee. One for her, one for me. We'd sit in the kitchen, half asleep, sometimes not even talking. Just existing together. It wasn't romantic, but it was ours. About 2 months ago, that ritual started to change. Her coffee would stay warm, mine would go cold. She started leaving early, said she had more projects at work. Julia works in marketing, so I didn't question it, deadlines, pitches, whatever. But then came the perfume. A scent that didn't belong to her. She said it was a gift from a coworker. Weird, but I let it go. The weirdest part. She started acting irritated all the time. Snapping over small things, like me forgetting to unload the dishwasher, or asking about dinner plans. Her phone was always upside down, and she laughed at messages she wouldn't show me. I tried to brush it off as stress, but there was this pit in my stomach. Something felt off, and I couldn't shake it. So, this is where everything started to unravel. About 3 weeks ago, Julia said she had to stay late again, some team strategy session. I remember texting her around 9 p.m. just to check in. No response. By 10:30, still nothing. Around 11, she finally replied, "Sorry, still at work, big project launch next week. Don't wait up." Except. I wasn't an idiot. Something about the message didn't sit right. It was too polished, too formal, like she'd rehearsed it. Julia never texted like that. The next morning, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed. Normally, I don't touch her stuff, but something in me just clicked. It was a notification from someone named Mark. I didn't recognize the name. The preview said, "Last night was wonderful. Still thinking about you." My heart just stopped. You know that cold, hollow feeling that hits you in the gut before your brain catches up? That was me. I opened the message, hands shaking. There were weeks of texts. Flirty, stupid, juvenile stuff. "Can't wait to see you again, you smell like heaven, he'll never know. He'll never know." I don't even remember what I did for the next 10 minutes. Just stood there in the kitchen, staring at my reflection in the microwave door, trying to make sense of the fact that my wife, the woman who used to trace circles on my back when I couldn't sleep, was sleeping with someone else. When she came out of the shower, humming like nothing was wrong, I swear I felt something in me crack. I didn't plan it. I wish I could say I took a deep breath, thought it through, and approached it calmly, but no. I snapped. She came downstairs with her towel on her head, scrolling her phone, and I just said, "So, how's Mark?" She froze mid-step. Her face went pale for half a second, then she smirked. "What are you talking about?" she said, like I'd asked about the weather. I told her I saw the texts. Every single one. At first, she tried to deny it, said I was reading things out of context, that Mark was just a friend from work. When I mentioned, "He'll never know," her expression changed. She got defensive. Angry. "So now you're spying on me? That's creepy, Tom. Maybe if you weren't so paranoid all the time, we wouldn't be having problems." That hit harder than it should have. Somehow, I was the problem now. I pressed her again, and that's when she broke. Not into tears, no, she laughed. This ugly, bitter laugh. "Fine, you want the truth. Yeah, we hooked up. Once. Maybe twice. But it didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything." I think I stopped breathing for a moment. She kept talking, saying she'd been lonely, that I'd been emotionally distant, that Mark actually listened. The excuses came fast, like she'd practiced them. I didn't yell. Didn't throw anything. I just walked out. Sat in my car, staring at the rain on the windshield, wondering when exactly the woman I loved had turned into a stranger. I didn't go to work that day. I just drove. No destination, no plan, just miles of highway and a head full of static. I ended up at this empty park on the edge of town, the kind we used to walk through when we were dating. The irony stung like salt on an open wound. Around noon, she started calling. Then texting. We need to talk. I'm sorry. Please come home. I ignored them all. I wasn't ready to hear her voice again. When I finally went back that night, the house smelled like her new perfume. She was sitting at the kitchen table, the same spot where she used to pour our coffee, with mascara streaks down her face and her phone clutched like a lifeline. She launched into this half-apology, half-blame speech. Said she didn't mean to hurt me, that it just happened. Then she said the line that almost made me lose it. If you'd paid more attention to me, maybe I wouldn't have looked elsewhere. That's when I realized she didn't actually regret cheating, she regretted getting caught. She cried. I didn't comfort her. She said we could go to therapy. I said she could go to hell. Then I went upstairs, packed a bag, and left again. That night, I stayed at my brother's place. Didn't sleep. Just lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying every laugh, every lie, every "I love you" that suddenly felt fake. The worst part wasn't the betrayal, it was the quiet understanding that the life I thought I had was gone, replaced by this cheap, broken copy of it. The days that followed were a blur of disbelief and exhaustion. I moved into my brother's spare room with nothing but a duffel bag and my laptop. Every morning, I woke up expecting a text from her that would make it all make sense, some explanation that would undo everything. It never came. Instead, I got a string of half-hearted apologies and manipulative texts. Can't we just forget this ever happened? You're overreacting, Tom. People make mistakes. Don't throw away everything we built over one stupid night. Except it wasn't one night. I went back through the texts, dates, messages, pictures. It had been going on for months. That realization hit harder than the initial discovery. She didn't just cheat once. She built a second life. I stopped eating properly. Stopped sleeping. My co-workers noticed something was off, and I lied, said I had the flu. The truth was, I couldn't look anyone in the eye without thinking about how pathetic I felt. One afternoon, my mom called. Somehow, she always knows when something's wrong. I told her everything. She didn't say, "I told you so," didn't even curse Julia. She just said, "When trust breaks, it's like glass, honey. You can glue it back, but it'll never be clear again." That night, I sat in my car outside our house. The lights were on. I could see her silhouette through the kitchen window, still making 2 cups of coffee. I didn't go in. I just watched the steam fade into nothing. That's when I knew, I wasn't going back. A week later, Julia showed up at my brother's place. No warning. Just knocked on the door like she still lived in my world. I opened it, and there she was, makeup smudged, eyes red, clutching a bag of my old t-shirts like that was supposed to mean something. She didn't even say hi. She just pushed past me and started crying, saying she couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and that she'd made a terrible mistake. For a second, a small part of me almost believed her. That old instinct to comfort her kicked in, but then she said, "Mark meant nothing. I only did it because I was lonely. You were never around." There it was again, the blame. Always twisting it back on me. I told her I wasn't doing this anymore. That I knew she'd seen him more than twice. She froze, then tried to switch gears. Suddenly she was apologetic again, sobbing, saying she'd end it with him right now, pulling out her phone like she was performing for an audience. Then she slipped, literally said, "He already ended it with me, okay? I don't have anyone else. That's when it all clicked. She didn't come back because she missed me. She came back because he dumped her. That realization burned through whatever pity I had left. I told her to leave. She threw a fit, said I was being cruel, that I was throwing away everything for my pride. Then she slammed the door so hard my brother came downstairs thinking I'd been in a fight. All I said to him was, "She's gone." And this time, I meant it. When she left that night, it was like someone hit mute on my life. Everything felt quieter but heavier, like the air itself didn't want to move. I went through phases: rage, disbelief, sadness, numbness. Sometimes all in 1 hour. I'd be fine watching TV with my brother, then see a shampoo commercial with a girl who had her hairstyle and suddenly I was back to square one. I missed her and hated myself for missing her. I'd catch myself remembering stupid things, the way she hummed while brushing her hair, how she'd steal fries off my plate even after saying she wasn't hungry. I'd think about those small moments and wonder, was any of that real? Or was she already lying to me back then too? There were nights I almost texted her. Not to get back together, but to ask why. I wanted to know when she decided I wasn't enough. But then I'd remember the smug way she laughed when she said, it didn't mean anything, and my stomach would twist with disgust. I tried therapy. The counselor said I was going through ambiguous grief, mourning someone who's still alive but no longer who they used to be. That hit hard. Because Julia wasn't dead, but the version of her I loved. She was gone. It wasn't until I stopped looking for answers from her that things started to get clearer. I realized closure doesn't come from the person who broke you, it comes when you decide their lies don't get to define your story anymore. It took about a month for the fog to start lifting. I was still living out of my brother's guest room, but I'd stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes, half expecting her name to pop up. The silence that used to hurt started to feel peaceful. One morning, I went back to our old house to grab some stuff, mostly papers, tools, a few things I hadn't packed. The place felt like a museum of bad memories. The coffee mugs were still on the counter, both of them. Dusty. Untouched. Like she'd frozen the scene, hoping I'd walk back in and pretend nothing happened. There was a note on the fridge, in her handwriting, "We could fix this if you just talk to me." I didn't even read the rest. I took it down, folded it once, and threw it in the trash. That was the moment I realized something had shifted. For weeks, I'd been drowning in anger, replaying her lies, trying to understand why. But standing there in that dead silent kitchen, I didn't care anymore. I wasn't angry, I was done. I took one last look around, grabbed my stuff, and walked out. Locked the door. It felt final. Like I'd closed a chapter that didn't deserve any more of my story. That night, I slept through the night for the first time in months. No dreams, no racing thoughts, just the quiet kind of sleep that feels like healing. Life after betrayal is weird. It's not like in movies, where you have a big crying scene and then suddenly you're healing. It's 1,000 small, awkward steps. Learning how to cook for one again. Remembering that you can leave your phone on the table without worrying who's texting you. Realizing that peace doesn't feel exciting, it feels steady. I started running again, something I'd given up years ago because Julia said it was boring. Turns out, running alone with a podcast and no one lying to your face is actually pretty damn nice. I reconnected with a few old friends, told them bits and pieces. Most of them said the same thing, "You're better off, man." I knew they were right, but it took time to actually believe it. A couple of weeks later, Julia tried reaching out again. This time, she sent a long, emotional email about how she was working on herself, how she missed what we had. She even said she'd started therapy. I didn't reply. Not out of spite, but because I realized I didn't owe her my peace anymore. I blocked her number that night. Deleted her photos. Threw out the coffee mugs. It hurt for a second, then it felt like breathing after holding it for too long. For the first time, I wasn't living in reaction to her choices. I was just, living. It's been about 6 months since that morning I found the note, the one that shattered everything. I'm still picking up the pieces, but they don't cut as deep anymore. The house is sold, the divorce papers are signed, and I've got a small apartment now. It's quiet, but it's my quiet. No lies hiding under perfume. No pretending everything's fine over coffee. Looking back, I think the worst part wasn't the cheating itself, it was the erosion. The slow, sneaky way someone you trust starts to pull away, all while pretending they're still right beside you. You don't notice it at first. You tell yourself it's just stress, or routine, or life getting in the way. But then one day, you realize you've been loving a ghost. I learned that you can't fix a relationship that only one person wants to save. You can't compete with someone's need for attention or validation. And you sure as hell can't heal in the same place that broke you. If anyone reading this is going through something similar, here's what I wish someone had told me. Don't chase answers from someone who lied to you. Their version of the truth will only hurt more. Take the time to sit with your pain, but don't build a home in it. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. It's how you stop dragging their poison into your next chapter. Now, when I wake up, I still make coffee. Just 1 cup. And you know what? It never goes cold anymore.